On today's show, Chevrolet launches a thermonuclear attack on the Ford F-150. Say, did a secret military test cause Lexus nav systems to go haywire? And why one Wall Street analyst believes investors better hit the brakes when it comes to Tesla. All that and more coming right up on Autoline Daily. This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the automotive industry. Yesterday, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration and the Department of Transportation put out a warning to all aircraft that there was going to be a GPS interference test going on. The test affected 10 states and part of northern Mexico. And it looks like that testing was centered on China Lake, California, home to the Navy's China Lake Naval Weapons Center. We mentioned this because yesterday, Lexus got a flurry of complaints from customers that their in-car navigation systems were going haywire. Lexus says it can't find the cause of the problem, but we would suggest that they read the FAA advisory. And you can click on the headline link to read it yourself. Last year, we reported that analysts who cover the truck industry were pretty pessimistic about Navistar's chances to survive. The company just released its latest financial earnings, and sure enough, revenues fell 18%. But surprise, surprise, Navistar produced a net profit. Not much, only $4 million, but it greatly exceeded analysts' expectations, and as a result, its stock jumped 24%, the most in 3 years. By the way, Navistar's top officers include two former General Motors executives. Troy Clark is the CEO and Walter Borst is the CFO. I tell you, I want to see it succeed, if only because Navistar makes the most beautiful Class 8 semi on the road, the sensational-looking Lone Star. You don't see a whole lot of them, but they take my breath away. Still to come, Chevy tears into the Ford F-150, and a look at car sales from around the globe.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, advanced materials that deliver better results. And by Lear, a global leader in automotive seating and electrical systems.
To understand the automotive industry, you need to keep up to date with car sales all over the world. Automakers and their suppliers are deeply integrated into the global economy. So, over to China, where passenger vehicle sales shot up 11% in May, hitting 1.7 million vehicles. You know, we thought that the Chinese market was slowing down, but tax cuts and higher incentives are propping up the market. Meanwhile, in Mexico, car makers sold a record number of vehicles in May. Sales topped 121,000 units, and that's a 24% increase. And in Canada, sales fell just short of last May's record-breaking pace, but there were 2 fewer selling days this year. Sales in the U.S. market were also up in May, meaning that North America and China is going great for the automotive industry. Whoa, the battle between the Ford F-150 and Chevy Silverado is about to go thermonuclear. Chevrolet is launching a new ad campaign comparing the steel bed of the Silverado to the aluminum bed of the F-150. The commercial shows about 825 pounds of landscaping blocks being dumped into each bed. While the Silverado does get scratched and dinged up, the F-150 bed has tears and cracks. The ad also depicts a similar scenario with a toolbox. I tell you, Ford is going to be furious with this, and we can't wait to see how it's going to retaliate. Say, should you invest in Tesla stock? Coming up next, we have one analyst who is very, very wary.
For the people at Dow, racing is a sport and a science. We enjoy one and learn from the other. But like most competitive people, we like winning at both. This is the human element at work. Dow.
Investors are going gaga over Tesla. The company stock is currently trading at over $230 a share. But not everyone on Wall Street is convinced that it should be valued that high. On Autoline this week, John Murphy, the senior automotive analyst at Merrill Lynch, says, "Watch out, investors," at least in the short term.
But I think when you look at this company, there is a people are looking through the capital intensity of the industry, and the idea that they're making 50 to 100,000 cars this year. I think the target is technically 80 to 90,000, but 50 to 100,000, and have a target of 500,000 in 2018. Now they pulled that forward 2 years. That's interesting, and if you poured billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of capital into that, maybe you could ultimately get there. But you are putting that kind of money up to get to those targets, which means that you might not make a lot of profit, and you certainly will have subpar returns. So the question is, can you do something, and will you have the financial benefits of doing it? And that's highly questionable right now with this company. I mean, they just raised their capex target from 1.5 billion to 2.25 billion this year, which means their free cash flow targets of getting to positive this year are totally off the table, and they're probably off the table for the next 2 or 3 years. So it's kind of a tough thing to place a lot of value on a company that's burning a lot of cash.
For more of John Murphy's analysis, you can watch that entire show right now on our website or our YouTube channel. Hey, later today we're going to be reporting from the TU Automotive Conference. It's one of the premier conferences showcasing the latest automotive technology in connectivity and mobility services. We'll be posting videos and interviews with some very interesting people, so keep an eye on our website or subscribe to our daily email blast to keep you up to date on the latest news. And you can find out how to do that on our homepage at Autoline.tv. And with that, we wrap up today's report. Thanks for watching, and join us again tomorrow.